Hey everyone, it's Val and Lisa in Vegas. So I all want you all to know that this is very impromptu. This was supposed to happen in Wisconsin, and we were just going to be like popping on to be guests, but there's just had a little issue, so we're going to do it.
We are.
We're going to do it.
We're
Yep.
flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. So we just. Do I have to start?
Okay. I think we're back. Can everybody hear us?
Let us know in the comments so we know. If you didn't hear my beginning, we are here in Vegas and we are just hanging out while it's Nick's birthday week. So I bought him a plane ticket to come to Vegas to do what he loves to do, and that's to play slot machines. But I don't think he's doing really well. So he's kind of
okay.
Kind of a little crabby.
He came home early yesterday. And of course, it's warmer in Wisconsin right now than it is in Las Vegas. I think today we might hit 80 degrees, but we have sat out in the sun a little bit in the backyard.
64.
I think we might have got a little wind blown yesterday. Maybe we sandblasted off some wrinkles. You are a little pink.
So,
yep. All right.
All right. Well, jump on, say hello. We're trying to see how we do all this. Yeah. Okay. We're figuring it out here. All right. Okay.
Hopefully everybody can hear us.
Yeah. Yeah. Give us some thumbs up. Kaylee, let us know. Text me to make sure everything's going good now or whatever. But well, you have 1 minute. Where are you?
Oh.
We're goofing around. That's what we were doing. All right. So let's just talk a little bit about what we have for you today. And like I said, we just kind of threw it together. We're just going to talk about some of the things that I'm working on, some things Val's working on, and then we're going to give you a trunk show of Val's book because it's a little bit with a twist because you're going to see some of her first generation quilts before it became the book when they were just doing patterns. But
so you'll see a couple. We rounded up as many from the book that I had because when all the quilts came back after the book was printed and we demoed it, I gave the quilts back to the ladies that, like my mom, my sister, my friends that had helped make the quilt. So I think I have 9. I'm missing 4 of the 13.
Yeah.
So I have 9.
So we're going to make do, but we're going to show you some other things that we're doing. All right. So what are you working on this week? What have you been working on? You quilted a quilt today.
I quilted a quilt. I've been quilting a quilt all week off and
Darcy,
on.
Your quilt is done.
Yeah, almost. I think got about an hour. I bound a couple quilts.
Yep. You took off a binding off an antique one.
I did. The antique, one of the antique quilts I had talked about that I purchased when I was at the gathering, had a binding that was attached later on because there was a lot of it was a self-bound quilt, and then somebody attached a binding by machine, and I don't know what kind of thread they used. It was like super duper strong, but got it off and rebound it. I did a little bit of stitching. I did some hexagons. Oh, I should grab those. I did a little bit of hexies with some fabric that's not out yet. It was one of Sherry and Chelsea's lines. I quilted the quilt for her, and I absolutely loved it. So she made me up a little kit with some of her fabric cuts that she gets. So I started working on that. I don't know what else. I think that's pretty much what I've been working on.
So I always so technically everybody thinks we're on vacation, but we're really not. We're working. But when you love what you do, it's working vacation.
Yes, it's a working vacation.
So I always plan. I'm like, okay, so I had 2 borders left to stitch on pumpkin carving contest. So I set up one day I'm going to get one done. The next day I'm going to get the other one done.
Got those done.
Got the quilt together. So I meeting my quota.
Yep.
And today I just finished cutting out the 208 stars for the Peace Summer Block of the Week, or summer blocks, or however we're going to call that, summer monthly blocks. But so, and while I was cutting, like, look at all these fabrics. So this is like the stack of fabrics, and they are so beautiful. Like, I don't know if this is all 208 of them, but it is a nice big stack. But as long as I was cutting, I thought I might cut a few for my friends. So I cut one for Val. And
I don't have to cut all those little squares.
And I cut one for Darcy. So, but these fabrics were so fun to go through, and you know, tons of, like, look at that green. That is so cool. That's a Kim Deal green, I think. Yeah. So we have teals, and we just have all the whole spectrum. And I'm talking about stars all around. And this is the traditional version, which is just going to be hit up with a solid Bella. Do you want to grab that first block? I'll give you a peek, because I didn't know if I really showed this too much, but this is like one section. So see how all the stars, 208 different colored stars in the whole quilt. And then, like I said, no half square triangles and no flying geese. So do you see how they kind of come off the end here? That's what these are. I have these saved later on. When this goes to another part, that will finish. So this is a really, really super fun quilt. So if you didn't sign up for that, or you're on the fence, you might want to get on there, because I know we only have 30 of them left. And I also came up with a little bonus project. A bonus. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to do the freebies, and then you're going to do another little bonus with the little bit you have left over. So that is going to be triple bonus for the stars all around quilt. So if you have any questions, I don't know if can you see them? I can't see them.
No, but
can you see them?
No.
All right. I don't know if they just stopped there with the last one, because this lady had my first live, and let's just get rid of that, huh? Or not? Oh, whatever.
And I'm gonna do my stars all around a little bit different. I'm gonna make a scrappy background.
Oh,
so
yes,
I'm gonna use a bunch of I'm gonna use a bunch of different lights for mine, or at least that's my plan right now.
And that, I mean, trust me, because the quilt I'm sleeping on my bed right now is awesome with all those scrappy backgrounds.
Yeah.
But I just want the quilting to show off on the other sides of this, you know, around the stars.
Around the stars.
So that's why I have, this is my background right here, all cut and ready to go. Look at that. It's all cut into the shapes that I need. So later on today, I can be piecing some more blocks together.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll just make mine a little darker.
Oh, yeah.
That might be what I do.
I feel like I'm at home here. This is my second home, because I even said to Nick, look, I feel like I'm at home. There's this of mine. There's that of mine.
There's a lot of Lisa in this house.
It's really kind of fun. So
yeah.
And good. I wanted to show this. So this, Val made this when she was in Wisconsin last time. We forgot to show you, but I've been collecting vessels for about a couple years now, and I'm going to bring these to the gathering, and I'm going to let people make a pin cushion while they're there. And this is what you came up with when you were there. I said, what do you think about this idea? If I have all these cool vessels and people just make a little pin cushion to go in, and I have all the scraps and all the things there for them, and then they can, you know, like for a nominal fee, like reimburse me for the container, because I'm really cheap. I only buy things that are like $5.
She had some really cute ones. I had a hard time picking, but when I saw that little,
but that's another thing that I want to do at the gathering.
That was fun, and I think we did it in a morning.
It wasn't super cute. So it's all chipped up. It's like old granite coffee cup, I think, that came with somebody's mess kit or something, in this beautiful blue color.
Yeah, it was cute.
And then she just made pennies on it.
Yeah.
Cute. All right. So you just talk a little bit while I figure this out.
Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit, just real quick. Terry's working on finalizing the Meet Me in the Garden pattern. And as soon as that's available, we're going to release the pattern. So be watching for that. And also remember, if you're buying all the rulers, there'll be a ruler/pattern pack that you'll be able to order. It's not on their site yet, but there'll be a little discount on the pattern if you buy all of the rulers and the pattern all at once. But I'm going to show you a real quick sneak peek at the cover of Meet Me in the Garden. That's stitch along. So that should be starting June, July, depending on when all the fabric gets in. I think the backgrounds, the shirtings are out or
but
shipping,
not the pre-cuts
but
yet, yeah.
and pre-cuts aren't, and also the darks aren't out yet. So that is that. And then Katie, my daughter, most of you might, Katie Nolan, know that she does cross stitching, and her company is called Count Your Stitches. If you're getting the, can I say that? If you're getting the quilt box, in the quilt box, you get a little cross stitch pattern. And so there's a little six cross stitch series that she's doing, and they're really cute. So and they're moving to San Antonio in June. So she wanted to get a lot of her stuff done. So there's going to be a Meet Me in the Garden medallion, cross stitch. Yep. And then I have a little pattern here. And then there's also the Meet Me in the Garden row quilt version. And there's going to be instructions for that row quilt also in the Meet Me in the Garden pattern for the medallion quilt. So she's got those all done. So those will be ready. What else? I think that was it. So just be watching. The rulers are going to be, they're going to have a little promo for those, for the rulers. We can't discount Creative Grid rulers, but we can the pattern. So pattern's almost done.
Yeah, that'll be like a package deal.
Yeah.
Pattern and rulers.
Yeah. And if you have some of the rulers, then just pick those up, and then you'll just have to purchase the pattern separately.
All right. So I got us figured out here. I can see your comments now. So please keep leaving comments, and we'll pick some winners.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple, give away a couple books.
We're going to give away some of the books that are so awesome.
Do you want to do pumpkin carving real quick?
Okay. So this is going to be a reveal, first time reveal of our summer wool project called Pumpkin Carving Contest. Like I said, I got it done. So we're going to give you a peek of that. Now, this one, we only have 25 spots left. So we're almost sold out. And then, because we think it's so cool, and you're going to be mad that you didn't sign up once you see it. So we are going to, we have another 2,000 yards, I think, coming, 1,000 yards, 200 kits coming. Yeah. So enough for 200 more to do. And that will be a June start. So if you didn't jump on now, or you don't get one of those last 25 spots, you're just going to be a month behind. You're still going to get all the freebies, and you can be part of it that way. And it'll just be a month behind because we have to wait for that gray fabric to come in. All right, so should we show it?
Yeah, and she was stitching on this. We were cutting out jack-o'-lantern faces in March when I was visiting you at the gathering. So
first time ever I've had it done beforehand. And I'll tell you why. It was so fun. It was so fun to create these little pumpkins and all their faces.
They're all different.
And it was easy. Yeah, it's easy stitching. Like I could stitch, like it's 5 different rows. And I could really, if I sat down, I could really stitch one row in a day or two. So don't be mad at me.
You could.
Yeah, I mean, I could stitch one of these borders in 6 hours.
Yeah.
Total. So
she did.
Yeah. And so I know I kind of can tell how long it's going to take me, and don't compare, because remember, I've been doing this for 25 years. And if it takes you a month to do it, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It is what it is. But all right, let's show them this quilt here.
The pumpkin carving
so we'll
contest.
pull these out of the way. We're going to grab that out of there.
And hey, I still have my spring decorations up, because technically it still is spring. So you see some Easter stuff back there. I didn't quite get everything taken down before Lisa and Nick got here, because I had a kidney stone. Still do.
All right, so I know we can't show you the whole thing here, so come this
this way.
There you go. Okay, so this is with the optional finishing tongues on here. So if you see that, all right, and then we're going to show you the bottom half. So let's flip the bottom half. So then you're going to see, and I didn't plan on having this on the bottom. I thought this would look good enough. But when I had it done, I was like, oh no, we definitely need tongues on the bottom. So look at the cute little faces. I stitched in all the closed components of the letters. That was fun to do. I kind of just did
I
that
just
on the
noticed
fly.
that. Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah. So this quilt, it measures somewhere, I didn't measure it exactly, but somewhere like 60 by 68. So it is a little bit longer. It's not square. It's definitely a wall quilt or a piece of art that you hang.
Hey, it
in
might
the
go
fall.
right there on that.
Yeah, like
hanger.
right here on your hanger, right? No, really, it needs to go on that one.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So I hope you get one of the last 25 spots for our summer project here, and we'll have more of this gray fabric, not this gray fabric, but the other grunge. And trust me, you can't even tell that this one has stars in it. So if you don't get the one that doesn't have the stars in it, you'll be just fine as
We're
well.
gonna start showing the other quilts.
I don't know. Let's just make sure we got everything done here.
And stars all around.
All right,
Oh.
let's pick a winner of one of the books. Okay, did somebody text me winners, or am I just going to pick them out of the
We're gonna
chat?
look right here.
Okay, everything is good.
We texted you a winner on the private chat, so check there.
Okay. All right. So private chat.
I did it. Got it.
All right, there it is. So Ronalda Petri, you won one of our books. So please email store@primitivegatherings.us and claim one of your beautiful books of Val's that we have for you. So that's winner number one. We have 3 total.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
You wanted to talk about Hogs for Heroes?
Yes. So I know I'm super excited about all the Hogs for Heroes blocks that are coming in. We'll give you an update for sure next week and show you the stack of what we already have. But we need more. I know Val said she was going to take some to
the UFO, the 20 something of the month, and I'm gonna see if get any of my students to quick make a block.
Yeah, and if I have time tonight, I'll cut some.
We'll cut
if
some
we
up.
have some fabric, we'll find some red, white, and blue here. Huh?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
So thank you. If you've already sent it in, you are awesome. We can start building quilts already. We actually could probably get 5 quilts done already. So that'll be awesome because I think we have like 100 blocks the girls told me ahead of time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it is a different flag block than any of the other American Gatherings, Hogs for Heroes ones that we did. It is on my blog, and there's a little sidebar on the blog that you can click, and you can print the pattern right there. And by all means, use that pattern for Quilts of Valor or anything like that if you want. But I really like the star and the star, or just 1 star for the people who are going to get this quilt.
Yeah.
I think that is the best option for them. Us quilters like all those different blocks, but I think for what I would like it for, I like the stars. So that's why I put out a new one for that. Okay. All right. We ready to do trunk show?
Yeah.
Do we have any questions at all? Where do I see those? Remember, I was just going to look here. I was going to look here.
So we're going to talk about, I got to go this way, Fun Friends and Fat Quarters, which is a book I did with Lisa's Fabrics, Urban Gatherings.
Urban Farmhouse Gatherings.
Yeah, okay. In 2019, the very first one. And some of the patterns in the book were patterns that I had as individual patterns. And then I did 5 brand new patterns for the book that currently are only available in the book. But we're going to show you some of them in the urban fabric lines. And then I also have some that are done with 12 different coordinating fat quarters. So I have a red, white, and blue one. I have a green and blue version. I have, I think I have a Sherry and Chelsea line. I have red work gathering. So I have some, I even have one done in one of your flannel lines.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's probably the hardest one. I wouldn't have thought to do it. One of the girls at the Christmas Goose where I teach did it as a sample. So we're going to go just down through the book. For those of you that don't know, most of the patterns that I write are fat quarter friendly. And all of the patterns in this book take 12 fat quarters to make the piece inside. So anything that is not an inner border or an outer border in the pictures, so if there's a scrappy border or sashing or any of those things, Those are all cut from the 12 fat quarters. So let's say you pick the very first pattern in the book is called Stars and Strips. It's not a typo. It really is strips. If you pick that, all 12 fat quarters for that particular quilt are cut the exact same way. So I don't say cut 3 this way, 4 this way, 2 this way. They're all 12 cut that way. And that's the same way for every single pattern in the book. So I tried to simplify it as much as possible and try to utilize as much of the fat quarter as I can when I'm designing those. And then the other neat thing is so let's just say you have a red and white bundle of fabric and then you want to add borders to your quilt. It doesn't matter which quilt you pick out of the book. If you buy a 1 1/4 yard of one fabric, that'll be your inner border and binding. And if you buy a 1 1/4 of a second fabric, that will be your outer border. And that works for all of the quilts. Sometimes I have you make your outer border a 5-inch, 5.5-inch cut, or sometimes it's at 6.5 inches cut. It just depends on the inside part of the quilt. And I think we're also going to do, I think they're going to offer a backing, backing option. So there'll be some shopping options here in a minute. The backing option, again, it's easy. All of the backs are 4 yards. So yes, you might have a little bit extra, but because then if I think I want to make Stars and Strips, but no, maybe I want to make Moving Day, then you could still have the 4 yards. It doesn't matter which backing it is, or which quilt that you're picking, the 4 yards works for that amount. So it's pretty simple. You need 12 fat quarters. If you want to add optional borders, it's 2 fabrics at 1 1/4 yard each, and that will be your inner border and binding from the first one and your outer border from the second one. And then if you want to purchase backing, it's 4 yards of backing. And that is that way with all of my patterns. Some of you might know that my parents used to have a quilt shop and it was called Hearts to Holly. And we called those. Hi, Mom. We call, and Dad.
Yeah, Dad.
And whoever else. Yeah. We called those fat quarter packs Holly Bunches because the name of the store was called Hearts to Holly. And that basically meant we covered everything from the beginning of the year, like Valentine's, to Holly, the end of the year at Christmas. And we came up with the idea that it was called a Holly Bunch, but it's just 12 coordinated fat quarters. Okay, so I might refer to it as a Holly Bunch quilt, but it really is a fat quarter friendly quilt. Okay, cool. So let's start.
All right, so just come on.
Okay.
Because I've been reading the comments.
Okay.
All right. So yes, they're all beginner friendly.
Oh,
this
yeah.
book is true beginner. Like these are quilts for beginners, or like you need something quick and fast for a gift or a baby. This is perfect. So that's one of the questions here as well. And then also we do have a button that, Live with Lisa, where you can go shopping. Like Val kind of said, we have set up a couple different options for you to shop, whether it's the grays, the blue and whites. We don't have red and white. We're all out of red and white. It's crazy. Good thing there's one coming. But I gotta talk about that.
Yeah.
And so and then we can do scrappy,
like Civil War
scrappy we'll pick for you, and then modern scrappy. So those are the categories that we're going to have available for you. Backing will be 20% off if you purchase that right away. The fat quarters are also on sale. I think it's like $32.50 for the 12 of them. So I know fat quarters kind of just went up all over the place. So they're not $3 anymore. They're like $3 1/4 or $3.50 in places. I just saw them at the quilt shop that we were at. They were $3.50. But so just know that, trust my girls, they're going to pick awesome things for you. And typically they would go like dark, mediums, and lights is like the best way to go.
Or kind of like you might get half lights, half dark.
Yeah, like in the scrappy version.
Yeah, and then if you look at the quilt patterns in there, some might lead or read better with light, medium, darks, and some might read better with a half light and a half dark. Like,
yeah. So if you're taking notes, take notes from this, and if you are going to make a specific quilt, even though no matter what we put together, we'll make every quilt in the book. Maybe you want to do stars and strips, and you want maybe you want half lights and half darks. So we'll pick out 6 and 6. or, you know, maybe you can, in the comment section, you can put anything like, hey, pick out a dark border for this quilt. But really, you usually do an inner and outer, one will be dark and one will be lighter.
Yeah.
They'll complement
Yeah,
each other that way,
yeah.
or a medium and a dark type
Yeah.
thing. We won't pick out two darks for the border and binding and inner border. So those are just a couple things that I read in the comments. And yes, hey girls at the gathering, I'm coming home tomorrow, so I'm going to see you. Don't you worry. You did not miss me. I'm going to be home probably 4:00 tomorrow. Maybe I'll come stitch with you. Don't worry. Even though they told me I already booked next year. So
Oh, that's good.
yes. So hi girls at the gathering. They're probably sitting on the couches watching right now. You're all awesome. I can't wait to sit with you. Okay.
All right, let's start.
All right.
So we're just gonna go in order of the quilts in the book, but we don't have all of them. So Kaylee will put up a picture of the ones we don't have. So this is Stars and Strips, and this is the very original Stars and Strips quilt I ever made. So it's a really older Americana line, but it's strips, which are your logs, and stars. So that's how I came up with Stars and Strips. And you know, my husband's retired Air Force, so I always like to make. Do you want to come this way? Always like to make things that are Americana. So it was really easy to design this one originally. So this has an inner border. The binding is different on this one, but we got smarter since then and just do the inner border and the binding out of the same fabric. And then this has a wide outer border. So that is what that looks like in Americana. And then I will show you the urban version.
The neutral
and
version.
this one you can see the inner border and the binding are the same. So this is the neutral version, and that was it's the same quilt that's in the book. So that's Stars and Strips.
Let's show them the back too.
Okay.
Ooh, homespun.
Yeah, I put a homespun on it. So I like to use homespun or flannels for my backings where my skin's gonna touch it. So if it's a lap quilt that going to go on the back of the couch, I like to use it. But if it's going on a bed and you're going to have a sheet in between you, I don't usually use flannel on my back on a bed size quilt. But I also live in Las Vegas. So, all right. So this one's called Moving Day because this is a broken dishes block. And we moved a lot in the military and inevitably dishes broke. So that's why it's called Moving Day. Again, inner border and binding are from one fabric. This is our biggest quilt in the book without adding any extra fabrics. I think it's 58 by 64 before you add, or 57 by 64 before you add borders to it. So the sizes that are on there that you're seeing is the size of the inside of the quilt, not including the inner border and outer border. So that is
big, easy pieces.
Big, easy.
See, simple, beginner.
So I would call this a more modern colorway. It's an older line. I think it was a Bonnie and Camille line. And then we'll show the urban version too.
And that just had a navy back on it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
that was just a solid navy.
This one has a pretty back.
Yeah.
I love this back.
All right. So this one, my sister Shelly piece for the book. And again, it's Moving Day, same. And we only put one border on this one.
So you don't have to.
You don't have to put two. We only put one. And the book tells you those sizes. They tell you the size of the quilt. They tell you the size with just an outer border. And they tell you the size with an inner border and outer border. And then I want to talk about one more thing. If you want to make this into a bed quilt, when the pattern has 12-piece blocks, that means that every fat quarter equals one block. So if you wanted to make this for a queen size quilt, I would get 25 fat quarters, okay, and make 25 blocks. So it would be 5 rows of 5, and this quilt would fit on a queen size bed. You would need more borders. You have to probably up it to 2 yards of each.
And you pieced your borders,
I
right?
do piece my borders.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so when you piece borders, especially inner borders, well, and outer borders, do not do that diagonal thing. The only thing you piece diagonally is your binding
strips.
So if you have an inner border, don't do that diagonal
the
thing.
45-degree seam.
Do a straight, short seam that way.
Straight,
then you don't notice it, and two, you don't have any bias stuff going on.
Yeah, because what happens as a long arm quilter, sometimes when we get borders that have that diagonal seam, that adds fullness sometimes, not on purpose, on the outside edge of the quilt, because you've now cut something on the bias, and if it's not sewn perfectly on that angle, it does add a little fullness or extra stretch in the border. So sometimes we have to compensate and take a little tuck or something like that.
But it really, you can just sew end to end.
Yeah,
you don't
straight, short
and
seam.
open that seam up, press it flat, shorten your stitch length, make sure you use the same color thread as your fabric. Don't try to sew with white thread and put it stitching a dark border.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
straight
that's
seam. I'm trying to look and see if I can find where a seam is on this one.
Yeah, so one of the borders for sure will have
right there. There's a little seam right there, but it's really hard to see it.
See it? You can see it right there.
Straight line.
Wait a minute.
Out to
right here. There it is. So see that?
Okay. So just a little sewing tip. When you sew your borders together, if you haven't bought enough yardage to do which my patterns, when I tell you 1.25 yards, you've got to piece your borders. Right. But if you bought extra,
because you're trying to save fabric.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this
least amount of money possible.
Waste, whatever, investment. You know, because sometimes people that find out that you quilt ask you to make quilts, and these are great quilts to make because number one, it's easy to pick up 12 fat quarters. The borders are easy, and they're not complicated. They are quilts that you really could make in a weekend. Yeah. So it's not like you have hundreds of hours invested to give your neighbor's second cousin's third wife's seventh kid a quilt.
There's the backing.
Yeah. And
you should have like a swirly pattern on here for quilting.
I think it's like raindrops in the pond. My friend Marion quilted this quilt.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
When it's tight and dense like that, she did it.
That's Marion.
Yeah, I didn't.
All right, next up is the flannel.
Yeah, and oh wait, I think we missed one.
Kaylee.
We missed X's and O's, Kaylee. I'm sorry. I skipped.
Kaylee, you want to pop up? There we go.
Yeah, so I don't have that one, but that's a fun little block. And then those little spacers in there, just separate the X's and O's. If you wanted to sash these quilts, you would just have to buy an extra fabric and like actually put sashing in. I have a lot of customers and students that like to do that, and I think it's awesome. But with this concept of only using the 12 fat quarters for the middle, I've never added another fabric into that to make sashing. But maybe instead of using that inner border as an inner border, maybe you want a constant sashing and you could add that in between and then not use the little rectangles for that particular one.
One of the things we talked about is doing another book or something called Holly Bunch +1.
1+1 fabric. So I've come up with, I've actually taught a class with one quilt that I've designed that way, and I have another 2. So I just got to get a few more and maybe get another book.
What the +1 would mean.
+1 is 12 fabrics, 12 fat quarters, still always cut the same, but it would be +1 fabric, so a background. Okay, so and they'll always be probably different yardage. The one I did, it needed 1 3/4 yards of a background, and it could be whatever color background you want to go with your 12 fat quarters. So it'll be a Holly Bunch +1 to make the inside of the quilt, but then you'll add borders, and they're always optional. Maybe the size is big enough without it. So we did Stars and Stripes. We just did Moving Day, and she showed X's and O's. We got one more. Oh. The next one that I don't have is 50 Shades Pieced. Yep, that's it. So the fun thing about that is that actual block, well, when I designed this quilt, 50 Shades of Gray had just come out.
I didn't read that book.
I did.
I know you told me to.
When that book came out, my mom said anybody that reads that book should blush. So the original quilt had 10 grays and 2 pinks into it. So there's no reason that you couldn't do that with a scrappy version of 12 fat quarters, or maybe, like I said, the 10 grays and 2 pinks. So it's called 50 Shades Piece because that was when those books came out. But I don't know if you know that, but the block itself, and it's when you see in the book pattern, the block itself, it's the contrary. It's a version of a contrary wife, which I thought was another fun spin on 50 Shades of whatever.
You're
okay.
so clever.
All right. So now our next one, fabric swap. So this one was inspired by a quilt I saw hanging on the line when we were in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it looks like the lines are wavy in this one, but they're not. So you basically, each block is 2 fabrics and you just swap the sizes of the cuts to make the 2 blocks. And this quilt is actually made out of flannel. So you can,
piece.
yes,
Little?
yeah, it's teeny little. So you can use flannel for these as well. So this is fabric swap. And the original quilt that I had seen and kind of inspired, it was a batik version. We're going to fold it?
No,
The
they're
back.
showing the back. So they,
Yep, another flannel.
big loopy quilts.
Yep, this
Quilting.
circles.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool in batiks. We did a lot of versions of that. Okay, so bits and pieces. That's our next one. So when you make this block, or this quilt, you have some options. There's a picture of a quilt in the book that is not, and I'm going to call this planned. Okay, so when this block is made, these same 4 pieces were sewn back together. Okay, so it made this look the same, but you can do it scrappy where you have 4 different fabrics, or 4. So like this one would be in here and that one would be in here.
So
And
2 different ways to make it.
Yes, you can make it planned, a planned block, or you could make it a scrappy version. So I originally designed it as a scrappy version, and I think when it got pieced the first time, it was pieced like this, and I said, okay, well now we got a couple of options. So same back as I used on, I repeated backs on a lot of them.
You just bought one backing, right?
I went and got a bolt.
Bolt of fabric.
Okay, so this is Tivoli tiles. And this one's not quilted. This is a Minnick and Simpson line. I don't know if this is Charlevoix. I think it's Mackinac Island line, so it was an older line. But sometimes we get inspired, you come this way, by, this is really big blocks, so super easy, beginner friendly. But this was inspired, we have a Tivoli village here in Las Vegas, and they have some fun restaurants, a couple of stores. And when we were walking there for dinner one night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could make that into a holly bunch. Because it was the tiles on the ground, so that's why it's called Tivoli tiles, because it was the tiles on the sidewalk. So nice big blocks. This is another great Americana. And the other thing I like about this one is you can use bigger prints in this one because you have so much big space. But talk about an easy quilt to give somebody for a graduation gift or a baby gift. And then one more thing, I'm going to show it in half. So speaking of a baby gift,
6 blocks.
6 blocks with a border makes a crib size quilt. So you could get 2 quilts out of that 12 pack of fat borders.
Exactly. Yeah, might have to do more for borders.
Yes, yep, a little bit more for borders, or make them skinnier. Just make them smaller.
Looks like butterflies. I like that one.
Yeah. All right. The other one I don't have is Chop Suey. So I think Kaylee's going to put that one up. And it really should have been named Chop Susie because I did design a quilt called Papa Bear because my dad is Papa to all the grandkids. And so this one was named after my mom, who is Sue. So it's Chop Suey. But it should have been Chop Susie. Yeah, but I had already printed it and named it and everything else. So the fun thing about that is a like a stack and whack type quilt. It's a disappearing block. So you start simple, you cut your slices and then twist and turn and you end up with that quilt.
Is that size 48, just the inside?
That is just the inside, 48. So you add another 14 inches. What did that be? 52. Yep. Okay. So, or maybe it's 16 inches.
All right. I think we should take a break and see if we have another winner that the girls picked for us. So we just do that?
Yeah. We tap the chat.
All right.
Oh, we do.
Okay. So winner number 2 is Leona Kofed. All right.
Text
Leona.
the shop or email the shop.
store@permanentgatherings.us. Don't remember it's US. It's not .com.
Okay, I'm going to show that one first real quick. So this is a holly bunch or a quilt made with no borders whatsoever. This is just the 12 fat quarters. So this one is called Pound Cake. Because remember when the number sign used to be the pound sign, not a hashtag. So that's why I called it Pound Cake, because it looks like a pound sign to me. Again, it's fun. You can use a little bit bigger prints.
Could you scrap it or no? No, you wouldn't want to.
No, I think to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easier to plan if you just say, okay, fabric 1, fabric 2, fabric 1, fabric 2 for each block. So this is, again, the quilt, no borders. Okay. And if you're just doing binding, you need 5/8 of a yard of binding. So no flannel on this one. And I did custom quilt this. I just did cross hatching my straight lines that I like to do sometimes.
I could get this on a half yard.
What? Yeah, because I do a 2.5 inch binding. She does a 2 or 1 7/8. So this is, I wanted, Sherry and Chelsea's line, and I'm going to forget which line it is.
Balboa? I don't know.
It might be Balboa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really know. I was guessing.
So it is the same quilt again, but with inner border and outer border.
It's so much bigger.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
this is a great little girl summer quilt.
This goes on Allie's bed when she comes to visit Gam. So it's a good one to do.
Oh, show back.
Oh, back. Yep, I just used one of their fabrics. Okay.
Very beautiful.
I'm getting a big pile of quilts over here.
You are.
Okay.
So if you bought a fat quarter tower,
there's 40 fat quarters in there.
So you could make 3
quilts. And then you could even add some extra. You could make 15 blocks for some of them, if they're a 12 block quilt.
I just thought of that. So if you don't like some of the options that maybe we gave you, maybe buy a fat quarter tower.
Yeah.
Of one of your favorite designer lines.
Yeah.
And these would be beautiful in garden gatherings.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I still love garden gathering. We're gonna look at one that I don't have. Okay. I'm making this second quilt, so I'm just finishing getting the blocks together so that when I come to visit again in the fall, because we're gonna go to a football game, I'm gonna film the last assembly for our stitch along.
Meet me in the
garden. Stitch along. All right, so next quilt, Kaylee, is Buttermilk. So this is Buttermilk because that's a churn dash block, and a butter churn makes buttermilk and butter. So that is why that is called that. And that quilt was made with the 4 lights, the 4 mediums, and the 4 darks. So that's why you get that nice balance. But it's really funny how some of those blocks look like they're different because of the placement. Yeah, because of the fabric placement. But I think that's what makes that a really interesting quilt.
Yeah, some of them look more like shoe flies, and then some of them look like turn dashes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the other thing you'll notice on that one, there's a pieced inner border, and those were pieces of the 12 fat quarters. So you can add that in there if you don't want to have any waste, or you can just add the inner and outer of of the quilt. I mean, of the border options. Okay. So this one, I called my girlfriend Deb and I said, hey, do you have any of the quilts from my book? She's like, it's not bound. And I said, that's okay. I just need it. So this one's called Counting Game.
This looks bigger, is it? You think she used more fat quarters?
She might have added it because she needed it to fit a bunk bed. So she might have made this one a little bit bigger. And I can't remember if she did or didn't.
The quilting is
1,
amazing,
2.
Marion.
Yeah, nice little tight geometric. Yeah, this probably is a little bit bigger. She might have added 3 extra fat quarters to get some extra blocks.
So it gives you a great idea.
Yeah.
How much bigger they will be if you add. And just remember, bump up your borders and inner border.
Yeah,
if you
bump
do
up
that.
the yardage.
Well, you'd have enough for the inner border. You just have to find a different binding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you could make your outer border just a little smaller. Instead of cutting it at 6.5, you might have to cut it at 4.5.
Yeah.
So this is Counting Game. And again, it's
So why did you call it that?
because it's a 1.5 and a 3.5 and a 4.5. So 1 + 3 = 4. So it's a counting
Okay.
game.
Awesome.
You know, when it gets late at night, you get a little
You gotta
punchy.
check
and
out
you gotta,
this
like,
quilting. Look at this quilting. Isn't that cool?
I don't think Marion ever has more than about 1/4 of an inch of space in between.
Quarter of an inch?
Yeah, look at. I mean, that's
Maybe
like,
½ inch, right?
this is a quarter of
Yeah.
an inch in between those. I mean, she does really dense. I mean, a lot of you have probably seen some of her quilting.
I love it.
Before,
I
so.
absolutely love it. Total, complete difference than mattress pad quilting.
Yes.
All right, do you have any more? Is this one?
This is Hen House.
Okay.
And this, I don't have the gray and white version, but I have a red and white version. So this was your
Option.
color option.
Yeah, we don't have red and white, but this would be awesome in blue and white. We have lots of blue and white.
Yeah. So I had this one hanging for Valentine's Day because I had some red and white quilts out. Again, Marion quilted this, and you can see there's only about, well, there's probably 3/8
You
of an
take this
inch
one. I don't like it when things are
upside down there.
There we go. And even the triangles are standing up.
Yes. Yeah. And again, I think this one was 6 reds and 6 creams to make it.
So it makes 2 blocks?
Yeah, you can do 2 blocks, or I don't think I did it as a 2-block option because this fabric is in here with this one. They're different. So there's actually 12 totally different blocks.
Oh.
And these are not square blocks, they're rectangle blocks.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
It's 4 by 5.
Okay.
So it's a rectangle block. And
Every bit of the fat quarter instead of because you don't have to, blocks don't have to be square.
No, I
It can
liked
be
it because it
rectangle.
made my quilt a little different size.
Yeah.
So that is Counting
Let's
Game.
show that quilting again. Look at this quilting. So awesome.
All right. And then the book was a 12 pattern book. But I came up with a bonus pattern, so you actually got 13. And because this was Urban Farmhouse, everything, I think Joanna Gaines in Shiplab. So this quilt is called Shiplab. So it just is an light to dark all the way down. It's really subtle. I've seen some girls do it in a rainbow. So they started with, they did 12 different fabrics. So they did it rainbowy. I also had seen one of the girls start with the middle row as what the border was. And then they went out from that. So they might have done half-yard cuts instead of.
This is one you don't need a border for.
You do not.
I don't think so.
No, it's 60 by 60 without anything.
Yeah.
So it's
And if you want to make it bigger,
then you add borders, or
you just piece them this way. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's
all of it is
seams.
pieced
All that has a seam. And
you don't
one
even see it.
one of my students bought 2 or 3 of the same 12 fat quarters, so she could have just done half yards, but she did make it fit a king size bed, and I think she added more to make it longer. I think she might have had 20 repeats.
This is what you'd call really like low volume type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just the brightest lot or fabric in the line, and then toward the
and I didn't
darkest.
go dark.
No,
I went
this is
kind
still
of a medium
medium.
gray.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yep, and I had a ticking on the back, a final ticking.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Sounds like my house is falling down outside
Yeah.
because I got the landscapers are putting in the final touches. Okay, should we do one more drawing?
Yep, we got one more drawing. Come back here. I do want to talk about. We haven't really left the house too much.
No.
We went to pick Nick up one night, and then we went to the yard house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 2 days ago now, right?
Yeah.
We went to and got a massage at. Oh my gosh. So you tell it because.
So it seems like every time Lisa and I get together, we're going to a spa or getting a massage or doing something.
Because we work hard. We got to get those knots out. Yeah.
So a year or so ago, my husband and I, we were going to the chiropractor, and she said, you could really use a massage. And I'm like, well, where do you go to get a massage? And she says, I go to the foot spa in Chinatown in Las Vegas. And I said, okay. So my husband and I went and had a massage there, and it is a very deep tissue massage. And they are very petite women giving you the massage.
Yep. Asian ladies.
Yeah. And it is unlike any spa experience you'll ever have.
Yeah, literally on top of your back.
On top of you.
Using their knees and their legs.
And their forearms. And
it was the best ever. And even better was the price.
Oh yeah. It was like $59 for 90 minutes.
We went for 90 minutes.
And they did a 90-minute massage. Like we were in there almost 2 hours because they put your feet in hot water before you start, and then they start massaging. I could have just had them do my head and my feet, and I would have been happy.
Right. So if you ever come to Vegas, skip your hotel spa. All right. Go find the foot spa and take a little Uber there because you're going to save a ton of money. And
you can have lunch in the parking lot with funny named restaurants. I don't know if we need to go there, but it was a funny named.
Just tell them they want to know.
Big Wong was the name of the Chinese restaurant you could have eaten at. But there's all kinds of authentic Asian cuisine in that area. You can have pho, you can have Korean barbecue, you can have Chinese, you can have ramen, you can have Korean barbecue. I don't know. Did I say that already? But
but my girl, Nina was my girl. Who was your girl?
Julie.
Mm-hmm. Both fantastic. So support them. It was awesome.
Yeah.
They were just they were so delightful. They really
it was
were. They
good.
were happy.
It was good.
Yeah.
But it was unlike
and you're not. What was different is like you're not naked either. You don't have to get naked. Right? You know, and we were in the same room together, like side by side on these little low to the ground little.
Yeah, and there was only a curtain kind of separating us from the next group of two ladies that were in there. And when we went right when they opened at 11, so there wasn't. I mean, I think there were only women in there getting massages at that point.
I like those good adventures, and
it was fun. It was fun. It was unlike. It's a Las Vegas experience.
All right. Yeah. So one of the questions I just saw here was, where do I find Val's book or the Fat Quarters? Just go to our site, look for the Live with Lisa button, and Judy has them all set there for you to order. And like I said, if you want something different than what we have, use that comment section and say, hey, I want 12 lights to make shiplap. And kind of like the quilt, or you can say whatever you want, and I'm pretty sure that we can make that happen for you. Okay. Yep. All right. Do we want to tell them anything else we've been doing?
We're gonna go to dinner tonight to a steakhouse.
Yeah. So when I say I'm going to Vegas, I am not on the strip. I am here in this beautiful home that she just moved into. Is it a year now?
Almost a year in July.
Yeah. And there's this beautiful pool out there. Too bad I can't jump in it yet.
I think.
But guess what? That means I have to come back.
Yes, you're coming back. We did get in the hot tub.
Yeah, the hot tub
didn't get in the pool to swim.
Awesome. First when we stitch and
yeah.
So I'm here holding up with her, doing what I love and what we love.
Yeah.
And it's always so fun to get together with your girlfriends and be like, hey, what did you see lately? Or she'll be telling me about her new essential oils she found.
Oh yeah.
From a girl. Let's give the girl a shout out.
Citrine and Sage. I found her on Instagram, and she does these awesome oil rubs
With mica in
and
there, so
yeah,
they're-
with mica, so they're
yeah,
all
they're
sparkly
pretty.
and pretty. I think you might need to contact her and see if you can sell them at the shop. And then I got a whole bunch of packages delivered while you were here, so I have one of
Yeah,
my shirts
yeah.
on, and you're going to start carrying some
Yeah,
of these
these are
shirts
from Stephanie from Fancy That House Designs, and we will be carrying these in our boutique at the gathering. So
Yep. They
we
have fun
talked to her
quilt
about that.
prints. Yep.
Yep.
So fun,
Along with other things.
Traded our shopping, online shopping
Mhm.
favorite
Hey, you got to
sites.
get this, or hey, I
Yes.
found this, or
Yeah.
so
it's
that's
been
one of
good.
the fun things about when you get together with somebody to see what they found and what they're doing.
Yep.
What have you read? What are you watching? All that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. So we just kind of just hang out, and the days go by so fast.
Yeah, we went
go
to
by.
bed early. We were in bed by 9:30 last night.
Yeah,
We got up a little early, I think.
Yeah, a little sun though. We had some
Yeah,
sun.
And the wind.
Yeah.
I do think yesterday we got wind blown. Maybe.
And we did have a mimosa.
Oh,
we were gonna be drinking our pineapple mimosas, but
it's a little early.
yeah, it's a little early. I'm not. Yeah, that would like knock me funny for the rest of the whole day.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna pick one more
winner.
One more winner.
And if you have anything else, Mary Ellen Dillon, you are winner number 3 of Val's book. Please email the shop at store@primitivegatherings.us and give us your mailing address. Oh, so I'm just reading some of these comments. Girlfriend time is the best.
It is.
We agree.
Yeah.
You guys look sunburned. Maybe it's the camera. Yeah.
We probably are a little pink.
Sunburned. Oh,
Yeah, a
see,
little.
look at
And I even had sunscreen on.
Not me.
I told her the sun's a
I'm
little
going out
close.
worn out, age spotted all up. I don't care.
The sun's a little closer here than it is in Wisconsin.
We don't have a lot of sun at home. It's been one heck of a spring. We haven't had it yet, but as soon as we leave, it's going to be 80 to 90 there and muggy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think as soon as you leave here tomorrow, it's supposed to get up to 100 on Saturday.
Yeah, as soon as I leave.
Yeah.
But
so good.
like I said, I get to come back.
All right. Any questions that we need to answer?
No, I'm just looking. I found you while I was looking at half square triangle patterns. Yep. All right. So that's going to be it for our impromptu live. Hopefully we pulled it off all right. We've almost been on an hour.
An hour.
We can talk. We're good at that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us. Val will be back, I promise. If you haven't, sign up for Meet Me in the Garden. It's her stitch along that we will be doing. Well, not we, her. She's done videos.
You're supposed to be doing it along with
I'm
me,
going to be sewing when it starts.
Yeah,
so I'll be doing blocks with you. So I will be like, hey, do this, or hey, do that, or I found this. But she has done a fantastic job of doing all videos on every step of each block or round. So it's going together in rounds. Show them that picture again one more time. Meet Me in the Garden. And guess what? We are starting here on the outside. While we're all gung-ho, we're going to get all those blocks done first. And as we go in,
it's less and less blocks, so they'll
less.
take you less and less time.
Yes.
So you'll get to the end and go, oh, this isn't so bad. I only have 16 log cabins to make, and now I can put this quilt together.
Yeah. So if you go on our website and look for Meet Me in the Garden quilt along, you need 2 fat quarter towers, one of the lights and one of the darks. The dark one is 40, and the small one is only 20. The light one, is smaller, and it's only 20, and then a layer cake. So that's all you need for the fabric to make the quilt exactly how Val has done it.
It's 104 inches square. You will need 2 alternate fabrics for the compensating borders in between the rounds. But that'll be, you can either let the shop choose that, or you can decide after you get your blocks together which fabric you want to pull out for that.
Yeah, and that's a personal thing too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can add that.
You could do 1. You don't have to do 2.
Yeah.
I did 2. I did a green and a purple because that's what color my room is, purple.
Right. Yeah. So that's the only thing you're going to need yardage for that quilt. And we'll probably like halfway through set up a thing so they can order those.
Yeah,
if they want.
like a finishing kit. You might be able to get your backing and your something.
And what I always suggest when I was like cutting out the stars all around today, I was thinking, if I miscut one and there, like sometimes when you're cutting 5 or 6 layers, you'll have one that's a little short and you can't complete your blocks. That's when you put one of your own fabrics in. So
Yeah.
your quilt becomes different than anybody else's. So that's one of the things I like to say is whenever you make a quilt from a kit, if you can, and it's not going to do anything, especially these scrappy
Yeah.
quilts, put some of your favorite fabrics in there.
Yes. And I did this on the video. I accidentally cut something wrong when I was doing it. So I had to sew something back together, and it's okay. Those parts of my quilt that I accidentally cut wrong have a seam in them, but it worked that
You
I
don't
was
see
able
it,
to
yeah.
put it back together. So, hey, stuff happens.
Yeah.
I was making it cutting for the second time and I cut something.
Right.
wrong,
Yeah.
so,
No matter what, nobody's immune to making mistakes,
No.
no matter how many times you've done something, how many times you cut something. And I think that is one of the biggest things that we have to get across to new quilters or quilters who just suffer with perfectionism, is that it's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to piece a fabric together into two and then make your square out of it. It's okay. Nobody cares. Only you are going to know.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to point out where those things are when they do happen. But I think those are what makes our quilts interesting.
yeah.
So
Yep, make them ours.
yeah. All right. So I hope we filled up your hour today. We are going to hang out a little bit more here.
Yeah.
We go home tomorrow morning, but we're going to go out for dinner tonight. We're going to stitch some more. We have to deal cards. You know what that is? Should I show them?
Yeah. We
All
have
right.
to divide up some piles of fabric.
Yeah. So when I cut these stars, this is for stars all around. So I layer like 6 fabrics together. So there's my 6 fabrics. Now I have to deal these all out so they all match. So that takes time.
Sets.
Yeah, so I kind of did that while we were watching the Bucks game last night. Go Bucks, we won. We pulled one out that we probably shouldn't have won. Yay, Wisconsin. We have awesome sports teams, in case anybody cares. But so look at the cool colors and all like little prints. So that's just some of them that are in there. But that's what I have to do today. Just sort these all out and maybe start sewing some of them, but I don't have to. It wasn't on the list.
No, I think we're going to go sit outside because actually the wind is not blowing today.
Yeah.
It might get to 80 degrees and Nick's not coming home till 4 and we're meeting my husband at 5:45 for dinner. So we could probably be outside till 4 o'clock
Awesome.
with sunscreen.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going
Today.
to use it.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining Val and I today. Look forward to next week. We'll have some awesome things for you next Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will be back. We appreciate you all. Have fun shopping on the site if you need some fat quarters to make Val's awesome book. And the book is on sale. The fat quarters are on sale. The backing is on sale. Have some fun. Take care, everyone. Bye now.